Investing or flipping? Which one is better? What is up, everybody? My name is Justin Alvarado, and I am happy to announce that we are starting off this brand new YouTube series wherein we're gonna showcase some vlogs by different members of the family, and we're gonna talk about topics that we're interested in, and hopefully it provides value to the community. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, investing or flipping? What is the difference, and why does it matter? So, for me, and this is a disclaimer, by the way, but when I think about investing, it's very different from my mindset with flipping, wherein I separate my money and my strategies so that I can be very flexible within these two strategies. So, this is not a definitive guide whatsoever. This is more of my take, and this is more of me sharing my personal experiences. And, hopefully, what works for me may work for you, or maybe you can take some of this, take some of that, make it into your own, and, hopefully you get to build your own strategy that you enjoy and that works for you. Let's get started. Investing is something that I think about when I have a time frame of 5 years or more. So I think about long term when I invest. So these are cards that I'm okay, just filing away in a cabinet, not seeing it for maybe 5 years, and then hopefully, when I do pull it out, it's way more than what I initially bought it for. Let's put it that way. So when I think about this, these are cards or players that I see very low risk and potentially, medium to high reward. And because of that, I'm not overly concerned with the short-term price because my time frame is so huge that the margin for error is also bigger. And my strategy for both ways, on the upside and the downside, is that for the downside, I buy the dip because if a card that I believe in, let's say, dips by 50%, and I've done all my research, I have high conviction, and I believe in the card and the player so much, then if I see a 50% dip, my mindset is it's on a sale, you know? So I don't mind grabbing even more copies of the card because it will allow me to lower my cost basis and give me a better position to succeed when it does, well, hopefully when it does, recover. And on the upside, I only sell when I need the funds, or two, when I need to reinvest it because I found something that has a better opportunity. So that's the only reason that I will sell. Some people like to sell when they've hit the times two mark, or sometimes the 50% mark, or sometimes profit is a profit. You take it and you run away. It depends on you, but for me, I just sell when I need to when investing for the long term. So because of that strategy, I focus on established players, of course, because I prioritize the players that are going to be in demand. Let's say if even if I don't watch TV or the NBA for the next 5 years, I know these players will be in demand because they provide safety and stability. So I'm talking about the LeBrons, the Currys. If you want to go to the retired players, you can't go wrong with Jordan, Kobe. So those are the type of players that I think about when I invest for the long term. And last but not least, when it comes to the card itself, I go for the low pop or the rare or the iconic cards because those will hold the most value. I feel like, at least, when it does in fact, age into, let's say, 5 years or more. That's my strategy for investing. Let's go into flipping. And flipping for me is short term. So my strategy here or time frame is 1 year or less. And because of that, the difference here when it comes to flipping is that I regularly check comps. This strategy entails more of timing the market as much as you can. So you're gonna have to regularly check comps to see if your cards have moved up or moved down. And same thing on the upside and the downside. For the upside, I sell for a profit as soon as possible. No matter what it is, if I'm happy with it, or if I can justify the profit already for the amount of risk that I took, then I sell right away. I don't go. Maybe it can go to this price, or maybe in 1 week it'll be higher. No, I just sell when I'm happy. And on the downside, if it does dip when I've bought the card, then I just cut my losses right away because I don't have the same confidence in, let's say, flipping as opposed to investing because it's a very different strategy. If, like, for example, I don't mind sitting on a LeBron Topps Chrome PSA 10 for 5 years because I know that will be okay in 5 years, as opposed to sitting on a Tyler Hero Prism base rookie card PSA 10. I don't know if Tyler Hero is going to work out. So if I am not happy with the losses anymore, I just cut it right away. Move on to the next one. And I know it sucks, but it is what it is. It's part of the game. It's part of the risk. As long as we learn from it, I feel like then it's okay. Narrowing it down to two types that I consider. One is a quick flip. The quick flips are the cards that I buy below comps and then I sell at comps. So if I can find something that is worth, let's say, 15K average comps, but then I see it for sale like 10K, then I don't mind buying that and selling it for 12.5K. So, I'll take that 2,500 peso gain if it's a quick flip. And maybe you can even up it to, let's say, 13,000, maybe even 14,000. But for me, I just prioritize speed rather than the gains when I do quick flips. So for me, as long as you buy below comps and you have a margin of safety so that you can move around with the pricing, then you're okay. Second, which I find a bit more on the risky side as opposed to the quick flip, is what I would call a catalyst flip. So a catalyst flip is something that I consider that I buy and then I wait and then I hope for the price to spike and then that's when I sell. So I consider this very high risk, high reward because this entails a certain level of not just research but also predictions as well. And we all know that no one has a crystal ball. We can't predict the future, so it's very tough. Because, for example, let's say a catalyst would be unexpectedly winning an award, or let's say upsetting in a playoff series. So it's very hard because it takes certain events for prices to spike. So you have to forecast those certain events. And it's not always as easy as it seems. Like, for example, when Kobe was going to be enshrined to the Hall of Fame, people were assuming the cards were going to go up. And in fact, it was actually the opposite. People were assuming it's going to go up. So let's sell when Kobe gets enshrined. If you look at comps, it's actually down. So it's a very hard game to predict, but if you can do it well, it can be very very lucrative. So for me, either way and either strategy, I just sell for a profit and I don't look back. If I sell it at this price, I don't revisit that price in, let's say, a month after, just so I can see, oh man, I didn't time that right, because hindsight is 2020, and it's hard if you're gonna be regretting a lot of decisions that you're gonna make. So I just focus on the present and the future. I don't look at the past. So if I sell something and I got a good gain from it, I move on to the next flip or the next investment, and it stack up, the cash flow, stack up the cards, and move into better, 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 and better opportunities. And to add to that, I would say that it's easier for me, at least, to sell cards that are on the cheaper end of the spectrum. So that it's easier for people to buy as well. So I don't focus on the high end cards because they're harder to flip. And additionally, I also try to buy and sell in bulk when it comes to flipping, because it also gives me opportunity to squeeze out the potential profit, especially if it's just little. But if you can do it in quantity, then you're in a okay position either way. So as for the players itself, I focus on prospects because prospects are more volatile than established players. So when it comes to flipping, I focus on the younger players, mostly within usually 3 years around the NBA, because that's when they're still very much the card prices are still very much volatile. So it allows me to really take advantage of the potential spike if it does work in my favor. And last but not least, what I do try to focus on as well when it comes to cards are the liquid or the common cards, which are your, prisms, um, some select, not courtside, but maybe premier or concourse, and then some optics as well. You can't go wrong with those three brands in my opinion. So I try to focus on those liquid and common cards because when, let's say, a catalyst occurs, or if someone's looking for something, usually they've tried to buy whatever they can get their hands on the fastest. So these are the cards that are liquid. That's why I consider, like, let's say Prism, it's like a currency more than an investment per se, because it's so liquid. It's easy to get in, easy to get out. So if you can get in those tight ranges and eke out even a little bit of profit, then I think you're in a good position either way. So that about does it for me today. And once again, this is not a definitive guide whatsoever. This is just me sharing my experiences, sharing what works for me. And of course, even though it has worked for me in the past, it's not a guarantee that it will continue to work in the future. Because if there's one more thing that I learned when it comes to sports cards, you can never tell, and you always have to adapt because you never know at the end of the day. So that about does it. That's the difference of investing and flipping. In my book, investing is very long term, safe, and you think about the player, the card, and you sit on it for maybe uh, a long time, let's say 5 years, and then hopefully you come out profitable at the end of it. And then when it comes to flipping, it's a short term game. You check comps almost regularly. There's two types. You can do quick flips or catalyst flips, or what I would call it. And it depends on your strategy, on your risk tolerance, on your budget. But at the end of the day, if you can combine the two strategies, have a portfolio for investing, have a portfolio for flipping, and try to learn as you go by, and you can create your own strategy, create your own memories in the hobby, and that's what matters. I feel like at the end of the day, because all the learnings, all the enjoyment in the hobby, that's what makes it fun. That's what separates it from the stock market, wherein it's hard to love a company unless you work for the company or if you have an association with the company. But sports cards, it's very relatable, easier to understand, at least in my opinion. So that's where the passion comes from for me. So if you can stay passionate, be smart, and also make a profit at the end of the day, then everyone eats and everyone's happy. That about does it for me today. Once again, my name is Justin Alvarado. Stay tuned to the vlogs of MVP. It's going to be a brand new YouTube series. We're going to be posting every Tuesday and Wednesday, and hope it provides value to the community. And thank you so much for listening. Peace out. Thank you so much for watching. If you dig that video, please don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel. And last but not least, don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any video.